Hi, everyone, and welcome to Gulf Technology Talk. Today, we're diving into the world of cybersecurity, exploring its darkest corners, and learning about the latest threats and defenses. Joining us is Elias Raffoul, an expert in cybersecurity and senior manager at Arcshields. Eli, welcome to the talk.
Good morning, Eliane. Good morning, everyone.
All right, so Eli, let's start by painting a picture for our listeners. When we talk about the darkest world of cybersecurity, what exactly are we referring to here?
In fact, we're talking about the kitchen of cybercrimes. Imagine for a moment, Eliane, the internet as an iceberg. The top part is what we use daily. Let's say Facebook, Google, shopping sites, etc. Below the surface, you can find the deep web and then the dark web, which is the darkest world of the internet, where the illegal activities happen, cyber gangs, threat actors with different motives that we'll be talking about during this podcast.
So it's actually fascinating, but at the same time, alarming. So, how have cyber threats evolved over the past decade? Are we seeing new trends that we should be worried about?
Eliane, 20 years ago, the cloud, as we know currently, didn't exist. There were no Internet of Things sensors, no Facebook, not even Gmail was around. So with the progress of technology, the cyber risks evolves as well. Let's take an example. During the COVID pandemic, the organizations were obliged and forced to shift to the remote work. Home offices are often less protected than the centralized offices. We don't have firewalls, we don't have different kind of cybersecurity protections and controls. So traditional security vetting will not be rigorous as in the centralized office. Mm-hmm. That's why cyber criminals adapted their tactics and techniques to take advantage of this kind of risk. Mm-hmm. Yes. So the first one trending nowadays is the remote working cybersecurity risk. The second one, the second risk that is trending is the IoT risk.
Okay.
You know, Eliane, it is estimated by 2026, there will be more than 64 billion IoT devices installed around the world and connected to the internet. Fitness trackers, smart refrigerators, smart watches, voice assistants, etc. This will create more opportunities for cyber crimes. And these additional devices don't have the processors in order the necessary requirements to install firewalls on them, antiviruses on them, as we do on our laptops or on our smartphones. So, the dynamics and size of what is sometimes called the cyber attack surface will get bigger. Mm-hmm. The number of potential entry points for the malicious actors will grow exponentially. This is another attack vector that is trending, the IoT. The third one is the rise of ransomware. Ransomware is something, it's not something new. Ransomware for threat actors is like a chef's knife for a cook. It is not new, but it's getting more and more sophisticated and aggressive. For example, in 2020, ransomware made history by contributing to the first death related to a cyber attack. In an incident, in a hospital in Germany that where it was locked out of its systems due to a ransomware attack. It left many patients that need treatment without the ability for the doctors and the nurses to give them the required treatment. And a woman needed an urgent care. Was due to the ransomware attack, it was taken to a neighboring hospital 20 miles away, but they didn't survive. So ransomware attackers are becoming sophisticated in their phishing exploits.
Yeah.
Yeah. in their phishing techniques through machine learning, using the innovations of the technology, using the sharing on the dark web, because we're talking today on the dark web. The hackers share information on a real time on the dark web. It's the opposite side on the professional world and the between the companies and professional companies. Professional companies compete between themselves. However, hackers share the information, and the attack is like having several pieces together. So this group of hackers have this piece, the other group have the other piece.
They collaborate in a way.
Yeah, through the dark web, through this network, underground network. They collaborate in order to have a successful infiltration for the victim. So that's why the ransomware is getting more and more sophisticated, aggressive, etc. Besides that, we can see that the cloud security threats are trending. The social engineering attacks are getting smarter, in addition to many other trends. Every day we have a new trend, but these ones are the current more surfaced trends that we're facing.
So I know that you have shared also a lot of examples, but do you have like additional real world incidents that stand out to you that you would like to talk more about?
For the real events, it's sometimes heartbreaking. I have tons, in fact, of these events from CEOs coming to our offices devastated due to being the victim of a cyber attack hitting their environment. For example, late 1 year ago, I had a CEOs for a food chicken companies. They sell chicken, in fact. And they never thought about cyber fraud and all of these technology stuff in an advanced way. So they faced frauds due to a cyber crime, stealing from them hundreds of thousands of dollars. I have many events, heartbreaking events due to cyber attacks. But let me focus here on 3 of these events that are not financial. In fact, one of them is a little bit financial, but 2 of them are not financial, to see that the hackers' motives sometimes
they're not only for financial.
are really scary, and they can cause a lot of harm. And behind that, there will be financial motive in a way or another, but sometimes it's not direct. Let's take this example, because we elaborated a lot about ransomware. The first appearance of I will explain in a few words what is a ransomware, in fact, and the new ransomware that hit this psychiatric practice institution or hospital in Finland. So in ransomware, what does it mean? A piece of malware that will take your data as a hostage, between brackets, and it will not give it back till you pay the ransom. So in the ransomware, you have the latest ransomware is the triple extortion ransomware. What does it mean? The first level of the ransomware, it will encrypt your data, so you will not be able to access your data. The second level of the ransomware is that will extort your data. What does it mean? It will send your data outside the organization, and it will not give it back to you unless you pay the ransom. It will threaten you that it will publish the data of your organization. The third extortion, which was very scary in the case of this breach in this psychiatric hospital, it was by threatening the users. In this case, was by threatening the patients. So what did they do? The hackers, they extorted this data from the psychiatric hospital, and they went to the patients by telling them, if this one have depression, I will publish this to your friends, if this one have obsession, I will publish this to your to the students, to your chief, to etc. I will publish it on Facebook, on the social media, blah blah blah. So it was very, very scary, because it was touching the most intimate things of that the person needs. Yes, that the person needs to hide. The second example is of attacks. It was not a ransomware. In fact, it was a attack. Did you hear about Ashley Madison? Ashley Madison is it was a scandal. In fact, it was a website, a controversial website, for a website used by married people for dating. Okay. So if someone needs to cheat on his partner, he will register on this website to find another person to cheat with that is following the same, if you want, the same purpose. So Ashley Madison was making, this website was making millions and millions of dollars on a daily basis, hundreds of thousands of people just registering, paying amount of money to search for another married person, wants to cheat, all of these stuff. And
the motive behind this app is wrong.
Unethical. Yes, it's for sure unethical. But look what happened. So after several years, this website, besides making millions of dollars, they had around 40 million subscribers. 40 million cheaters, if you want to say.
Oh my God.
Unethical cheaters. So 40 million. And this website guaranteed for these people that their data will be 100% secure, and their data privacy is 100% guaranteed. On July 15, 2015, a group of hackers infiltrated the network.
I think it's someone's wife.
Yeah, maybe. So they infiltrated the network through the remote connections that we just talked about, credentials of a third party working for this company to fix some IT stuff. And he took all this data and began threatening the owners of this website that if you do not shut your business, I will publish your data publish your data online. And it was really catastrophe for the owners of the website. However, they were stubborn. They wanted to continue the business. It was a multi-million dollars industry. So they did not cooperate with the hackers. They tried to tell him that we will give you money and all of these stuff, but he refused. He asked them to shut this business, otherwise all the data will be published. After and the timer and the clock began to tick. For 30 days, they refused to shut their business, and the hacking group took the decision to publish the data online, and you can imagine what happened. All the TV shows, all the news, they began to talk about the subject, and more than that, some people were getting divorced. A lot of people got divorced. A lot of public figures had a scandal, in fact. District attorney, actors, business owners. So a lot of people suicided as well. So it was something catastrophic. And besides being an unethical business, look what can happen in such case. Because they guaranteed that their website is secure, the data the privacy is guaranteed as well, but they didn't respect it. And millions of cheaters were under their mercy, and the marriages, etc. So unfortunately, this is what happened.
The people behind these attacks are often portrayed as like shadowy figures.
Yes.
I don't know from where they come. So who are these cyber criminals and what drives them? Do we have some data about that?
Yes. Thank you for this question, because we always think as hackers are like we see in movies, in Hollywood movies, a small guy sitting in his room, and he click on a button and everything will be so it's not like that, in fact. Sometimes it may be, but it's not. There are many other possibilities of these kind of people. We have sometimes political motive. For example, state-sponsored attacks. The state or different countries, so they recruit groups from working in countries where the cyber activity laws does not exist, like North Korea, like China, like many other parts of the world. So there are state-sponsored hackers and motives. There are political motives sometimes. There are financial motives. Sometimes the financial motive is direct. You are hacking a bank, or you're hacking a financial institution. Yes. And sometimes it's not direct. For example, a group of hackers knows that the competition in this industry is exponential. So they hack a company and they sell the database on the dark web for another company for competitive advantage. Other, they are script kiddie and for show off. A student who want to hack his school, for example. Okay, so these are these kind of motives. So the hackers, sometimes there are the disgruntled employees. A disgruntled employee who's he may do such activity because on the dark web, if you have access to the dark web, you can buy tools, sometimes advanced tools that does not need technical knowledge and expertise, and you can run it by yourself. It's very risky because it will be traceable, but a disgruntled employee who wants to do some harm to his company, he can do that as well.
And what about their methods? You talked about some of them, but what are some of the common tactics they use to infiltrate system? How have these tactics changed with the technological advancements? Can you explain more about their methods?
I would like to thank you for this question as well, Elian. Very interesting question, because I always we always face that the tactics of the hackers are always evolving. Nowadays we have these tactics. After 2 months they will be obsolete. So let me talk here about one of the main tactics and techniques used by hackers, which is social engineering. I would like to mention here Kevin Mitnick. Kevin Mitnick, he is the godfather of social engineering in the cybersecurity world. Unfortunately, a few months ago, he was dead due to a cancer, but he's a worldwide reference. So do you know Kevin Mitnick? Kevin Mitnick model or influencer in his work. You know Mikain?
No.
He was Houdini, okay. The magician.
Okay.
The magician. So from there you can understand. Who's what are we working and cooperating with It's not just about technology. It's sometimes about, between brackets, about kind of a magic. So sometimes from these attacks, social engineering, you can see a hacker doing a dumpster diving, searching in the garbage in order to see if there is any document thrown by the trash can or trash bin next to a bank, next to a ministry, etc. You can see a hacker trying to wear badges, trying to impersonate someone else. You can see hackers calling by phone, trying to plugging a USB on someone else's laptop, pretending to just for 1 minute he needs to copy something or to send something. You can see hackers telling you, I want to call just one call. I need to call my daughter, something urgent. He will take your phone for 1 second, and in a few seconds he will download a piece of malware undetectable on your phone. So the attacks is a combination. Last time I was reading an article about a social engineering hacker who infiltrated, when he went into the company, she was a woman, in fact, and she was pregnant. She was making herself as pregnant, so she went out in front of the office of the IT manager. They run in order to bring water, all of this stuff. During this time, she grabs a lot of documents. She filmed a lot of stuff. Sometimes these hackers, they do shoulder surfing. They go behind you without looking at you, and they will film one while you're keying on your password. Okay. So all of these tactics and methods, it's a combination between the normal social engineering or human hacking and the technology hacking. Besides that, they are using the AI to clone the voice.
Exactly, cloning videos, voice. So
yes,
also
yes.
This,
through the deep fake technique for the videos. Last time I was reading an article about a case that happened in the US. A group of hackers called a mother and pretended in the background that her daughter was crying and was shouting to her mother to pay for them the ransom. Otherwise, they will send her to Mexico. The mother tried to call her daughter, but she was skiing. She was not able to answer her phone. And the hackers knew that she was skiing through her social media. So she got crazy, and she fortunately, she called her husband, and her husband called the police, and they figured it out. But you can see that the AI, for example, now is used by hackers to do such phishing, such phishing technique, advanced phishing technique, and other tactics in cyber
and
crimes.
we've heard about so many stories, and the impact is really big on our personal lives, but also yes, the impact on businesses can be devastating as well. So
yes,
what are some of the consequences you've seen for companies that fall victim to these attacks?
When we're talking about business, we're talking about money, and each second counts, in fact. So I will give you an example about a small attack that caused a temporary stock market crash. In 2013, the official Associated Press, you know for sure, Associated Press, worldwide media station. So in 2013, the official Associated Press Twitter account was hacked. In a matter of seconds, a false tweet about explosions at the White House and President Barack Obama being injured. it spread like wildfire, and it caused a temporary stock market crash. In fact, they hijacked, it was a false alarm. They hijacked the credentials of the marketing guy who was posting on Twitter. So it was something small attack.
Yeah, like a small hack can actually impact.
Yes, it was devastating. So
politically, financially, and
yes,
people
yes,
who actually were like feared what's happening. So
yeah,
exactly.
yeah, it disrupted the market, and absolutely, definitely what you're saying. So here it's very important to know that cyber crimes and attacks and hackings and cybersecurity, it's not a matter of IT technology. It's something different. It's a matter of business risk. Okay, and for the people who want to believe that, they will experience that. In fact, till if they don't believe, if they will not believe it, they will experience it, because it's a matter of business risk rather than a matter of IT risk.
Okay, and small and medium-sized businesses, they often struggle with limited resources, which is understandable. How can they protect themselves against such sophisticated threats? What can they do in this case?
Yes.
Will not be able to invest as much as large businesses to protect themselves. What can they do?
Obviously, for the small and medium-sized businesses, they will be they will have a very limited budget for cybersecurity, specifically when we're talking about technology and stuff like sandboxing and all of these stuff. For sure, they will not pay for these. I will suggest for them the CISA recommendation, Cybersecurity Infrastructure Advisory in the United States. They provide for such cases the 4 basics: to have a strong password, to have a multi-factor authentication, to think before you click, and to update your system on a regular basis. I will add a 5th one, which is to have an air gap backup for your crown jewel data.
Okay, great. Good tips. So on the tech side of things, what are some of the latest advancements in cybersecurity? Are these new solutions making a significant difference? Like, do we have something specific that we can talk about, some solutions, some new systems? Do you have some examples that you can share?
Eliane, security isn't something you buy, it's something you do. So for example, in our company, we don't focus. We are vendor agnostic. We tell the clients that security is much more than just a product that you install on your infrastructure, and you will be secure, and the security hygiene and life cycle will be working as it should. So it's much more about different approaches. It's like peeling an onion. You have multiple layers. So, for example, in our assessments, we go from first of all, you can't manage what you don't know. So in such case, we need to do, for example, you need to have a gap assessment for each network. You need to treat each network as a unique network in the world, not as to generalize and overgeneralize. I treat this network similar to the other. No, each network has his unique DNA. So that's why we do kind of a gap assessment to understand all the pivotal points, to understand all the layers, how the traffic is flowing, from where the hacker can infiltrate and jeopardize the network, from the business logic or from the technical vulnerabilities. So first of all, before buying and giving the advices for the client to buy so many products and to put them on different layers, we tend to
understand and
understand what they have, to do this gap assessment, this security assessment based on international standards like CISA, like NIST, like ISO, and then we can go further to do a risk assessment in order to blend the business with the technology and to see the likelihood, the threat, the vulnerability, all of these stuff, to do the required calculation and to see the risk, the specific risk in this company based on its profile and its line of business. And then we can position different approach. Let's say we can do pen test using advanced methodologies. We can harden the components. We can provide, let's say, kind of CISO services or security advisory services in order to orchestrate all the products that he have inside his company in a good way and based on the best practices and in a dynamic way, the cybersecurity, because it's not static. So here I need to mention
has a different approach. And it's often said that the human factor is the weakest link. So yes, how important is employee training in preventing cyber breaches? And what are some best practices for fostering a cyber-aware culture? Because a lot of employees yes, might not know that because of this, they caused the hacker to access their data, for example, or their passwords. So what do you think about that?
Yes, I will add what you say, that your security is as strong as your weakest link. So that's why we always advise for continuous awareness. For example, as I am talking to you from Riyadh currently, here in their regulation, they forced the customers, they forced the entities and the organizations to have different layers of awareness trainings.
Okay.
So awareness trainings and continuous awareness trainings. So for example, here we're providing these awareness training for executives, for employees, for tech people, the IT managers, IT people, and we have some for the vulnerable employees. I will talk about it. What does it mean? And for the ambassadors, if they are, if we have any influencers, for example, we know this person in this department is kind of an influencer, so we give him specific training. Yes, yeah, in order to spread this culture of cybersecurity. Cybersecurity, it's not just a matter of one-time job or one person job. It's a matter, it's a culture inside the organization. And if you do not have the buy-in of the stakeholders, we say in Arabic, if you want to translate it, عبثاً يفعل البناؤون. So if you don't have
I will not be able to translate it.
It will be difficult. So if you don't have the buy-in of the shareholder, you don't, your security will always be weak, because the employees look at the C-suite level and they do what they see, and what they see enforced or not enforced, just as an example, as a role model. So here, for example, what do? Because the C-level, they have a very short time to, let's say, and they don't like sometimes to...
they don't have to go into a lot of details.
Exactly. So sometimes we provided something like virtual reality gamification and other stuff that engage the C-level in the session, and we provided some non-harmful attacks, cyber attacks. For sure, we take the consent of the cyber risk people in the companies or of the CISO, etc. And we try to do non-harmful attacks, non-harmful phishing, different methodologies, very, very entertaining. Nice. Our motto here is train, trick, and entertain. In order to engage people with this life cycle, and to be ready and to have a cyber aware culture in their working place.
Much more engaging this way than just receiving information.
Yes, because I have a lot of friends working in different countries, specifically here in the Gulf. They tell me, they send me an exam. And if I read, I put questions, and they send me an email, and something traditional, something boring, no one reads them, and it will fire back, in fact.
Exactly. And they won't even know the impact if they don't do it, for example. Because sometimes they say, okay, I will change my password later on. They will not understand the impact unless they actually experience, like you said,
thank you for mentioning this, because I consider this point is crucial. I think, in my opinion, every session we give for the executive, if I don't reach to create the sensation of fear of a real hack, I think my session failed. So I need to create the sensation of fear, to let them see what the impact may be, to which extent the hackers can go, and how they can jeopardize all their business flow, their families, their and many other stuff.
Perfect. And I want to talk, we talked a lot about the risks and what happened, but let's talk about some success stories now instead. So can you discuss a case where a company effectively thwarted a cyber attack, and what did they do right in this case?
In fact, Eliane, on a daily basis, we face such success stories on a daily basis, because attacks aren't always sophisticated or technically complex. What you need to do is to be prepared. And there is a proverb in Arabic that said, لا وقت للدرس أثناء المعركة. I think it will be easy to translate.
You are a library of Arabic proverbs.
I think it will
but
be
they
easy.
are nice, to be honest.
I think it will be easy to translate. So you need to be prepared, because it's not about if you will be hacked.
Winter is coming.
It's about when you will be hacked, and what will you do if you are hacked. So if you follow this mantra or motto or whatever you call it, or proverb, so if you follow it, you will succeed in a way or another to contain a cyber
minimize the risks.
Yes, to minimize the risk and to contain it, because you will never succeed to avoid it. Even though you can see Microsoft, eBay, the biggest banks, Google, all of these, Yahoo, all of these companies were severely attacked, and they have unlimited budget in cybersecurity. So you will be, but what will you do? So we, on a daily basis, we face and we help a lot of companies to prevent such attacks, to restore their operations. And here, what I find in common between these companies is that they simplify the security. They follow something called KISS. Keep it simple and secure.
True.
So they will have all these companies that they always succeed in containing And in mitigating such attack and preventing such attack, they follow something called a kind of a cyber threat narrative. What does it mean? You will have kind of, let's say, 4 elements. You specify 4 elements, and this concept will involve the C-suite level with your decision, with their assistance, with their support, because their role is to protect business. And when you include business in your approach, in your narrative, where you simplify things for them, they will support you more. So what I find between these companies, these 4 elements, they pinpoint or they specify the critical business activity and the risk. Let's say I have a water facility, a water facility. Let's say here the critical business, my critical business is water, wastewater treatment. Let's say I have my critical business wastewater treatment. The risk here, if the pumping station malfunction. Okay. The second element, supporting the first element, critical business activity and risk. The second element, supporting systems. Which systems are supporting this business? For example, a centralized operation management system. If it fails, the pumping station control equipment will fail, right? Okay. The third element, the cyber attack types and consequences. Let's say exploitation of an insecure network communication that will cause this pumping station control equipment malfunction. What is the consequence here? A massive release of raw sewage. Okay. Okay. And who is the fourth element? Who is the cyber adversary? A disgruntled insider, for example, because it's not published to outside. So all these companies with the successful stories have this cyber threat narrative. You can call it tool that they use it in order to simplify to simplify the elements. Yes. Any weak link. Any weak link, they specify what is their critical business, what are the systems supporting this business, what are the cyber attacks and the consequences, and who is the potential cyber advisory. By pinpointing these points, involving the steering committee or the executive committee with this kind of risk, you can reach a level to allow you to prevent and to contain cyber attacks. Okay, so we learned that there is nothing called 0% risk, but we can minimize it as much as we can and be prepared for any risk that we might face. And you mentioned before regarding ethical hackers. So ethical hackers, they play a unique role in this space. How do they fit into the bigger picture of cybersecurity, and how can organizations collaborate with them effectively to benefit also from this concept? Yes, in fact, it is a ethical hacking. I call it as a double sword edge. So the ethical hacker, some people they have the moral compass. They are ethical in themselves, but other people, they start ethical and they finish in prison or in the underground. So that's why you need. That's why in cybersecurity we always recommend to do screening, to do vetting, to have several eyes on these ethical hackers that they working, and you always need to give them incentives. All right. So that's why big companies like Facebook, like many others, they have something called bug bounties program in order to avoid having a continuous attackers trying to infiltrate their platform. So they give some, they give some reward, a reward for these individuals if they found a bug or they found a vulnerability, or they were able to exploit, yes, to identify and to exploit a specific vulnerability in an ethical way, and using specific criteria. They will give them some financial incentives.
And
yes, others they recruit these hackers. So others, they give them a kind of, they do for them some events in order to compete between, like here in the Gulf region, we see a lot of competitions. We as a company, we work with many universities to create some competitions programs for potential hackers, or for students, or for developers, or for network engineers that likes a lot the hacking, doing hacking and all of this stuff. So you need to help these people. You need to have these people to attract, to give them something appealing, in order to keep them, yes, to keep them in the right space, because they will have a lot of potential, and they will give you a lot of wonderful and helpful things in your network, you know?
Yes, exactly. And if our listeners could, I know you talked about so many tips, but if our listeners could take one action today to improve their cybersecurity posture, what would you recommend?
Yes. So for the business owners, I will tell them, go check inside your company if you have any disgruntled employees, and what accesses do they have first. For technical peoples, please take the cybersecurity is something dynamic. You always need to read and to see the innovations of hackers, and how they are working in the dark web, how they are cooking and crafting their attacks, using many platforms that can help you and assist you to keep your knowledge up to date. For fathers and mothers, I will tell them that they need to check the phones. I think I consider it as urgent. They need to check the phones of their boys, of their kids, and of themselves as well. If what are the applications installed on their phones, if the battery is draining, if their phone is always hot. So with these just small tips, if next to the camera the LED is always on, because unfortunately I faced a case with a relative to a student of mine in the university. Through the camera, they were able to make, yes, to take a small video of him in a bad. How to say it?
Bad moment, or
yes, bad moment. And they threatened him, and in fact, they published his video in his village, because they knew about him through the social media, and it was psychologically devastating.
I think it was a trend also at some point. You pointed out two things that I need to check: the battery, and my phone is also always how do you say,
freezing, or it needs to be up to date, and the camera LED, if it's always on next to your camera, because Elian, it takes years and years, 20 years to build, maybe to build a reputation, and few minutes of cyber incident to ruin it.
Exactly. And also, I would like to say, especially for businesses, that also if they would like to book a meeting and to learn more about how they can prevent and be prepared for these threats, of course, we are also available to schedule meetings with them. And thank you, Eli, for an enlightening discussion. And to our listeners, don't forget to follow us on LinkedIn and to sign up on Exceeders to stay updated on all tech innovations. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Eliane. It was a great pleasure talking to you and to our audience, and looking forward for other fruitful discussions.
Definitely. Thank you.